Namaskar. In today's episode, we have Mr. Jaspreet Bhatiya. He's a tourism expert with over 23 years of experience in destination marketing, responsible tourism, and policy formulation. As part of the very first team at the Chhattisgarh Tourism Board, he played a key role in building the state's tourism industry from ground. So Jaspreet is widely regarded as one of the India's most credible voices in tourism. Former founder secretary of ADTI Chhattisgarh, founding vice president of Tourism India Alliance, TIA, member of the State Planning Commission, Task Force on Tourism. Jaspreet Bhatia is not just a tourism professional, but a builder of ecosystem. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
So, Jaspreet, you entered this industry in 2002.
Mhm.
So, what drew you to this industry? What attracted you?
Well, to be honest, if I look back, I actually belong to the IT industry, and when I ventured into the tourism board, I was not exactly aware, to be very honest, of what lies ahead of me, and I was more of a techie guy who had joined up building up the tourism boards, IT infrastructure and everything. But I was lucky enough to have some great mentors when I joined, and because it was an initial phase and everybody was doing everything, so along with IT, there was a lot of operations in tourism and everything, which I started doing, and I instantly enjoyed it, and I found it better than sitting and coding or networking. So and that's how it all started.
So, because when you joined, this was the beginning of Chhattisgarh Tourism Board.
Hanji.
So, what was the teething problems you faced initially?
Problems in terms of marketing the destination?
And marketing destination overall.
See, it was full of challenges, I would say, in every aspect, because that was the initial time of the tourism board, and there were challenges in terms of marketing, in terms of operations, because on-ground facilities were not there, infrastructure was not in place. Plus, there was a big identity crisis. You remember in the year 2000, there were 3 states which were formed: Jharkhand, Uttarakhand, and Chhattisgarh. And it was very difficult for people in rest of India to understand where is Chhattisgarh, where is Jharkhand. So there were challenges all around, but that was the beauty of it.
No. So, how did your on-ground travel things shaped while creating all that infra and all that? And how this helped you in your business in long run?
Well, everything I know today, I owe it to my stint at the tourism board. I was there for almost 9 years, over 9 years, and we worked very hard on the ground. I mean, when I was part of the tourism board at that time, right from training the drivers, training the auto drivers, and everything on ground, creating awareness about tourism, what tourism is, because Chhattisgarh was a new state and people hardly knew what tourism was. So one thing led to another, and it was tough. But when I look back, I enjoyed every bit of it.
So, what are the 3 biggest strengths of Chhattisgarh tourism?
Well, Chhattisgarh has so many strengths. First and foremost is its natural beauty. 44% of the state is under forest cover. And Chhattisgarh ko sab chota state samajhte hain, but it is the 9th largest state in India. So the forest cover, I would say, it gives it a lot of natural beauty. Second is the people. Chhattisgarh is a people's place. It's an ethno tourism paradise. So the people, the culture, the folk dances, the festivals, the way they celebrate life, they celebrate their day-to-day things is another thing. That is the second most thing, I would say. And the third most thing is the history of the place, and the kind of monuments, the kind of archaeological remains, the kind of prehistoric sites we have. So these 3 things, and the combination of these things, makes up a great recipe of an amazing tourism place.
Great. Now, what policy decision between 2002 and 2009 played a key role in shaping Chhattisgarh tourism as a brand?
Well, if you look at it, Chhattisgarh Tourism Board started, it was built and it started on the lines of Singapore Tourism Board, that the government will not get into operations. And that's why it was a tourism board and not a development corporation. So the initial thrust of the government, and which I felt rightly, was to market the destination, create an conducive environment for the private investors, private players to come in, to be the stakeholders and to run the businesses. And that is what it started as. But somewhere in between, the government got into operations. It still is into operations. And the key point of the strategy was to market the state, to create awareness about the state, and make it known in the travel industry. So from 2002 to 2009, I think that was the thing which happened majorly.
You have been one of the strongest advocate for responsible tourism.
Yes.
So how it shaped Chhattisgarh tourism, or how you was able to push all those into the
See, any destination, if I can see out of any destination, I would see Chhattisgarh is in particular a place which needs the principles of responsible tourism to be understood. Because as I just mentioned, that the people are one of the main attractions. So we need to understand that people are not products. वो कोई monument नहीं है. So we need to treat people with respect, and we need to create that kind of awareness among the visitors. And for that sake, we need to position the destination in the right kind of market. I still feel that Chhattisgarh is not a mass tourist destination. It is a destination which is there for the like-minded people who understand what responsible tourism is, what ethno-tourism is. So that is what we try to, educate. I still don't advocate groups of larger than the size of 12 or 13, because that spoils the entire feel of the
that
destination.
ecosystem.
Yes, ecosystem. So it's very critical. It's very critical.
Tell us about Dev Hills and how this is helping locals out there, dependency.
Deville's Nature Resort was like, a very live example of joint forest management, in which there were three parties involved. There was one was the forest department, second was the local forest dwellers, and third, we as ice cubes were brought into the system to train and to do the capacity building. And this is an excellent example of how sustainable tourism can work. The forest department under the joint forest management wanted to reduce the dependability of the forest dwellers on the forest resources. So they wanted alternate sources of revenue generation, and a sustainable one with with no negative impact on the environment. So this Deville's Nature Resort was one such experiment which paid off amazingly. We started it way back in 2011-12. We were associated in capacity building of the locals. We gave them the skill development. We set up the resort. We did the marketing. We made it fully operational. And after 3 years, of successfully, building it up, we handed over back to the department. So it is still doing amazingly well, and it is like one of the closest projects to my heart, because that is a live definition or live display of what sustainable tourism can do.
Just because, as far as I know you for more than 22 years,
Ji.
but I never asked you what inspired you to shift from government to this ice cube.
Well, I think, as I say, I owe everything I learned. I mean, I've learned to my stint there. But at government, after a certain point of time, I started feeling frustrated. Because government works in a typical way, and I come from a government background. My dad was a government servant all his life. So after working for 9-10 years in government, I realized, the entire focus is on process and not the result.
True, agree.
So after a certain point of time, the frustration got into me, and I thought that, this is not what I want to do, and that's how, I started my own thing.
Good. So what does it take to build a credible DMC?
That's a good question, because these days I feel there are more DMCs than there are clients.
True.
So, I would say that not just a credible DMC, I would say a credible tourism enterprise, because we had been discussing this all the time, that I feel that unfortunately our trade, the travel trade in India, is generally very unorganized. People are not doing the work in an ethical way or professional way, the way they should be doing. So, and I feel that it's we who are responsible for that, and it is high time that we should, come up and start following ethical business practices and doing business with utmost respect and in a proper professional manner. So, it is not a formula or it is not an overnight formula or any secret formula. It is a simple thing. आपके अंदर business ethics होने चाहिए, आपके अंदर professionalism होना चाहिए, and you should be clear and you know you should not cheat people. You should do ethical business.
That's what I want to ask you. Generally people say what travel agents are looking from a DMC, what they are expecting. But as a DMC, what do you expect from your travel agents? Because reason is when they do false selling, when they do false commitment, it comes onto DMC at the end of the day.
Sir, देखिए, what is a DMC? Destination Management Company. So I would say you should call yourself a DMC only if you are truly a destination management company. And I feel that if you are, projecting yourself as a DMC, then you are not just selling a tourism product or a travel product. When a person is visiting that place, you are taking the complete responsibility
of
that tourist in your place. He's placing his time in your hands. So that enhances our responsibility. So in order to call yourself as a true DMC, you should be absolutely clear about your service areas, your responsibilities, your areas of expertise. You should have on-ground operational expertise. You should have on-ground operational teams. It should not be via. You should be operational there. I feel that is the basic of it, and you should have control over the destination. You should have command over the destination. That is a basic thing. I mean, that is what a DMC is.
Because what I was asking you is, when your agent who's marketing your destination, your product, when you do false commitment to the customer and customer, the service you are giving, he is not giving the service. When he's coming to you, how do you handle that, and what do you expect from your travel agent?
See, it is very simple. Again, knowledge-based work is very important. If you will do knowledge-based work, these problems will not happen. If you will do professional work, see, commitment should not be verbal. It should be all in written. So if I have a deliverables, it should be clear-cut mentioned on paper. And there has to be clarity between the DMC, between the agent and between the end customer. And this is exactly what I meant when I said we are unorganized. So if you have a clear system of working, you have your deliverables clearly cut out, you have listed, okay, this vehicle is, for an SIC and not on disposal. Then there is clarity. So we have to have systems and processes in place, and we need to check that these are being followed. SOPs should be there. And again, knowledge-based work. With all due respect, 50% of agents who are so-called agents would not know what is SIC. They will just pick it and they will sell it.
True.
So that is what the problem is.
When we talk of inbound, two things are important: authenticity of the product and sustainability. How do you maintain that when you are marketing your product through international?
What do you mean by sustainability in this?
When people are coming, right? We expect a lot of things when you're marketing. So you need to train in what is the demand of the destination. When you're talking of the people, how to behave and all that, it's part of the sustainability. How do you maintain that?
So first of all, I think inbound is overrated. The kind of population and potential we have in India, I think the kind of effort and energy that we focus on inbound, if we do that in domestic, we'll have far better results. We saw that in COVID. When nobody was coming from outside, even then our properties and resorts were booming. They did so much of business which they never did in their entire life. So personally, I feel inbound is overly overrated. Having said that, yes, genuinity is important. Yes, professional working is important. And as he said, it is very simple. If you're doing ethical business, you need to be clear about your responsibilities. You need to have proper training to your team, people on ground. So I think most of your problems are sorted with that. We just skip all the hard work. We just want to do the business. We don't want to build our teams. We don't want to train our teams. Most of us. So that is where the problem lies, in shortcuts.
And what is one misconception you think foreign buyers still have about lesser known destination or?
Sir, in this respect, I will say lesser known destinations are not even born. They have so much of misconception about India. We as a country, as India, we have not arrived on the international tourism scene. Forget about lesser known destinations. आप क्या बात कर रहे हो? मतलब lesser known destinations अभी पैदा नहीं हुई है. We as India, we have not arrived, and people have misconceptions about India. When say you travel so much, you go to WTM, you go to ATM, you go to Fitur, you go to ITB, I'm sure you would meet people who will have such questions about India. So we are very far from addressing that question, I would feel. I mean, first,
Okay, let's talk about Indian misconceptions.
so many of them, people are not aware about India. And I feel, I'm sorry to say this, that I very strongly feel that tourism is not the priority for our government. I mean, any of the government. You look at our stalls in ITB, and you look at the stall of a country like Rwanda and Uganda. Their stalls are much better than ours.
Yes.
So there are so many misconceptions. We need to change, and we need to create awareness. There was a reel of a gentleman who was speaking on some news channel, and there were some figures I checked online that in the year 2024, the tourist arrivals in Paris city were 45 million, and the tourist arrivals in India was 9 million. In Macau was 36 million. So where are we?
What is missing and where?
What is missing? I think a conscious effort is missing, because see, I agree that it is not right to blame the government for everything, that the government is not doing this, the government is not doing that. But I still feel that a lot more needs to be done, because there are certain things which the government can only do.
So you are talking about very clearly, and when you spoke, I want to ask you one question, very honestly. Now, you are going for WTM, you are going to ITV, you are talking about it, right? I don't know until the last moment I'll get the permission or not. When you get permission of the last 2 days, 3 days before the event, what kind of arrangements you will make? What will you do by going there? You won't get appointments. If you don't fix up appointment, people won't meet you there. So the whole process is a waste, right? What's your take on this? Let's start from here.
So you are just repeating what I said. I said government unfortunately focuses on the process and not on the result. This is what I said. This is a live example of that. I said government is not serious about tourism. You are saying about the same thing. Because why are we participating in WTM? Why are we participating in ITB? We are participating to showcase and to generate business. How will it happen? When we will register in beforehand, get the login ID, fix up appointments, meet people, have meetings, exchange ideas, then only. And if this happens, the purpose is defined. 100%. This is exactly what I said.
Yes. So what is the solution you find? Don't you think when we make any decision, any state, you have got funds, so there should be PPP mode, where private partners and government should put funds in a kitty and let both take decision.
Sir, to be very honest,
Because they are the ones who-
no, it's very difficult for me to say what could be the solution, and I cannot preach, so, and it's very difficult to just instantly think of a solution.
You are a member of the advisory committee,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So as an advisor, what will you advise on this?
So I would definitely advise that our decisions should be done in a professional manner, and we should do it in the right way, because you are spending huge amount of money. People are spending time, effort, energy on that. So I mean, if we do it in a more organized way, it will yield better results. That is the only thing, because that is a much simpler way to do it, and probably that is the right way to do it. I know it might not happen every time, but at least if we accept, okay, this is not how it should happen, then we might, correct it in the next, say 1 year, 2 year. Instead of going in something drastic, we can improve upon this.
Please tell me one thing. If there is a system, we are talking of digital era, 21st century, even our PM is talking about. If there's a platform where you can do networking, your stakeholders, government are on the same page, all associations can do their business on the same page. When you can connect with the world, do your roadshow sitting in office. Because when you go to a roadshow, you take 20, 30, 40 people with you. But when all your stakeholders can do participate in that roadshow, and you can do it with the word, how's the idea? And what do you think on those lines?
It sounds great. I mean, you're talking of convergence, and today it's in the age of technology, in the age of digitalization. I would say, I mean that that is what is important, because all that everybody is looking for, and what I also said is knowledge.
True.
And information.
True.
So what you seem to be talking about is a platform which has the right kind of relevant stakeholders joined together, and you have all the relevant information available at one place.
Yeah.
So that would form, like a backbone, or it can be an amazing platform which will have all the stakeholders, all information.
Not just information, they can
and
network,
interact also. Exactly, that's what I said.
Business.
What I mean information is, other than destination, it would be all kind of destination management people and all stakeholders, associations you mentioned. So it looks like a dream come true kind of a thing, which is too good to be true.
True. So let me tell you, there's a platform already available.
What are you saying? Already available?
Yes, it's called Travel Business, which is on iPhone, Android, as well on web.
And we are in the travel industry from 23 years and we are not aware of it.
Yes.
Amazing.
Then you should know. So
yeah, I mean, see, every day we learn.
Yeah. So life is a learning experience in itself.
Ji.
So whenever you get time, please go download this, and it's already available.
Ji.
Now, your last word to the trade.
Ji.
And to our viewers.
To the trade, it is the only thing, please do ethical business. I mean, that is the only thing which I say. We need to do ethical business. We need to do ethical business, and let's be organized, and we need to change the way people look at our trade. And nobody else can do it. We only have to do it. That is the only thing, nothing else.
Before we close, one thing, to be successful, there's a cost to everything. How do you manage your time for business and family? Because at times people, when run after success, they miss family. What's your take on that?
See, this is a very wider topic and a lengthy thing. For this, you need to understand what is success for you. Success for me is not money, right? Success is a combination of 4 or 5 parameters. So the moment you are able to balance those parameters together, your family, your health, your money, your friends, that is what is success. So if you talk only of money and no family and no friends, that is not success. So I think we need to understand, and every person needs to understand that what success means to them and work for that.
Right. And because as far as I know, what religion means to you when it comes to business?
I would again say ethical practices and genuinity, as simple as that.
That's what I wanted to hear.
That's it. That's it. Nothing else.
किसी भी व्यापार का, किसी बिजनेस का धर्म है सच्चाई और सत्य बोलना.
Sir, I mean, I'm a Sikh, I mean, it is not to be said. So, Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, Kirt karo. One chakko naam japo. So, Kirt karo means you need to earn an honest living.
True.
As simple as that. No rocket science.
True. Thank you very much for talking to us.
My pleasure, sir. Thank you for having me here.
Welcome for coming at Travel World Online.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right there. नमस्कार. मिलते हैं फिर अगले एपिसोड में, फिर एक नए एपिसोड के साथ. नमस्कार.
You are watching Travel World Online.